Kia ora mai tātai, kua huri atu nei, ki nāia nei, āhua reiti nei, mai kia mātai, āhua waru mēniti, e rua anō o mātai, kare anō i tai ake mai, ia mātai nā o roto Hawaikirangi, tēnei o ngā pēne hou nā, kua tīmata nei te pena atu i roto i te wairarapa ki Tararua. Ie tahi i roto anō o te papa i oea. Ie tahi anō i roto i te whanganui o rotu te whanganui atara. E no reira nau mai haere, nau mai haere, nau mai haere. Nau mai haere anō tātou ka huri nei ki te reo, tātou ka aroha nei ki te reo. He mānawa nei i te reo, he pū manawa no rātau ki te rongo atu, ki te reo, ki te kupu, ki te aha nei i roto i te reo. Tēnā hara mai, nau mai. Tēnā rā mātau o roto Hawaikirangi, o roto Wairarapa ki Tararua, o roto anō hoki o tahu mākaka nui matua. Hapu, tēnā o tātou mātau nā hapu, kua hoki ake mai. I roto i ngā tau rua ngahuru maono, kua taha ake nei. Ka hoki ake mai, ka kaha mai, kua pena anō mai ai, i roto i te tai hawauru au kati, i roto anō i te tai rāwhiti, i roto anō hoki i te tai tokerau, i roto anō hoki i te tai tonga au kati, kia tātou mātau anō. No reira nau mai haere, nau mai haere. Kia tuku ake tuatahi i tētahi paku ritenga i noi ki te rungarawa haiti matanga atu ki ngā mea hai whai atu i roto i tēnei wā. Tēnei te tīmatanga ki Hawaikirangi. Kia mātau anō, mātau toko whā i tēnei rā, i whakarite atu nei rā e mātau. Hoi anō, ko māru anoa, ko Nelas i roto i tēnei rā, mai anō ko Nelas, kua tai ake mai, te mea nui kua tai ake mai māua, ne? E rā tokorua, ki te tai ake mai i roto i te wā o te hawhi haora me te haora e tū ake mai nei, tēnā kia mea, tāwhiriti ai a hau rāua kia hara mai ki roto, ka tahi anō ka tīmata anō i a rātau te āpiti kōrero atu ki roto ki ngā kōrero i a Hawaikirangi i tēnei rā. No reira, kia ino e tātou, e tātou mā, kua hui ake mai nā, me tātou anō ka huri ake mai nā ki te whakarongo ake ki Hawaikirangi i tēnei rā, tēnei te whanakehanga ki Hawaikirangi i roto i tēnei rā, i roto RFM, Wairarapa TV, whakaata Wairarapa, tai atu anō hoki ki e rā, i roto i a rātau, te pūtea tautoko ki te pēne, te pūtea tautoko anō ki te hōtaka nei, ki Hawaikirangi, i a Tūtahu Trust, Tahu Investments Limited, te rūnanga nui o Tahu, te kāwanatanga ōrunga, te kāwanatanga mana tapu nei, o roto o Tūtahu Trust Tahu Investments Limited. Nā reira kia ino e tātou. Te iehua ariki, te iehua ariki atua, tēnei rā mātau Hawaikirangi kua hui ake mai nei, tēnei mātau te whakamuemiti, he tuku ake mai no i te koa ki a mātau, i kua harakoa nei rā i a mātau, e koe, kua aki mai nei rā i a mātau e koe, ki roto ki Wairarapa ki Tararua, tēnei puoro nei, tai atu anō ki tō mātau reo, tūturu i roto o Wairarapa ki Tararua, kia kawe mai anō nei, ki roto ki te puoro nei, tai atu anō ki o mātau na kōrera, kia kawe ake mai, i roto i tēnei kaupapa ki Hawaikirangi. Tai atu anō ki tō hona kaupapa katoa, Hawaikirangi katoa, me ona kōrero. Kia whakamoe mititia tēnei katoa I roto anō I a koe. Me o ngā koa no kua tiku ake mai nā I a koe ki runga ki ira o mātou whānau, o mātou uri, te ariki atu te iehua, kia whakamoe mititia koe, ki roto ki tō hou ingoa tapu, ake, amene. Nilos, how's it going, my bro?
Yeah, good, thank
All
you.
Good?
Kaea, very good, thank you. Yeah. Thanks
Awesome.
for having me here.
Yeah, no worries, brother. We are on Hawaikirangi right now, everybody. Just a little bit of a spiel there for all those that don't know what I was going on about. We have a lot of listeners out there very interested in the reo, that is traditional to this area and of course to the entirety of Te Tai Hauauru Aukati, or the Western Division, the traditional Western Division, which goes from Waipawa all the way down to Kaikoura, includes the top of the south and comes back up into Waimarino, which is just outside of Pātea Te Hāwira, and includes right up to Whanganui, so it's got Ruapehu anō there, into Manawatu, Rangitike, Manawatu, Wairarapa ki Tararua, all the way up to Waipawa. Then it goes straight up to Mōkau, cuts through the most southern point of Taupo, and then goes all the way down the west coast and joins up back at Waipawa. It goes right around Wellington, and then back up to Waipawa there, not far from Waipukuro, Te Waipukuro o Ruakuha. And of course, this is a band, Hawaikirangi. This is a band that uses the reo, the traditional language of the tribes of Wairarapa. The traditional tribes of Wairarapa, not the ones that the Crown tries to force us all to be, the ones that truly were here, that truly are still here, and the ones that the entirety of the language that is here, and that is here in abundance, that our tipuna left for us, from the most senior to the most junior. We have or those reo in the last 26 years since the return of Tahumāka Kanui Matua Hapu have been revived. And one of those reo, I know this is a real point of difference of this band, Hawaikirangi. They're going to use the reo of Waitaha Rangi. What significance does the reo of Waitaha Rangi have, Nilos? Do you know? Can you tell us?
I can't tell you, Kaea.
You have no idea?
No, I don't. You'll have to educate me, brother.
I have to put that guitar in your hand, bro. We've got a few instruments here. We couldn't locate the bongos. We couldn't get some bongos in this morning, and we've tried on off times today to get bongos in, and haven't been able. But we've got our bass and guitars. We will do a couple of songs here for today. Hopefully the other two people, I was also mentioning the other two, they're going to be late. Obviously they haven't. Mind you, then again, yes I do, I have my phone, I just remembered I've got it in my guitar case. I'll check that and see if I've got any messages there. Otherwise, we're all sweet and ready to go. Waitaha Rangi is the reo of the kahungunu. Okay, that's the proper language of the kahungunu. Now, why is there so much interest in that? Because the Crown pushes that. The Crown pushes kahungunu. The Crown pushes kahungunu, they push rangitane, and they got it all wrong, but they still push it, and so you got divisions appear amongst all the people, because some people who are more traditionalist, more purist, will stick with the more traditional kōrero, which comes from the ancestors, and then some will drift off in with the Crown, which is a natural thing to do. And there's nothing you can do to stop it except probably get rid of the Crown. Yeah, and that's so that's and as funny as that might sound, that's exactly what we've started to do, is get rid of the crown. Well, get rid of the authority of the crown anyway, and we've managed to do that, and that's on the cards. The crown knows it. They're losing their power very, very quick this year. In fact, for most of the year, they've known that all of their authority, their dictatorship, is about to come to a close. And there's nothing they can do about it, because the power of our tipuna, our ancestors, all of the most senior to the most junior, you can't just have the most junior groups take over, you know. And there's lots of genealogies and traditions and language and everything belonging to the seniors too. You know, you can't have that. You can't have, the crown thinks you can, but so that's what's special about our band. We are not just a unique style and ability to play reggae music, and the media's after that. But we also utilise the traditional language of Wairarapa ki Tararua, and one of those languages happens to be that language. And but we've got the language of all the tribes from here, all from Tahumaka Nui Matua, which is the main tribe, because it's the most senior, therefore it's the most populous, therefore it has the most land mass. And we won't go into details of how that's sort of turned tribe against tribe here, but we should have the mess pretty well cleaned up soon. And it was, Nilos, it was a matter of getting rid of the crown authority and taking control, how our tipuna used to have control, our ancestors before, and making sure that we can change things back to how they were, have the proper traditional community operation and organisation of our people that we always had before the crown came along. And just, I think they, being such, you know, they only cared about wealth, you know. So the best that they could get the wealth going. How's it going there, Michael? Michael's in with us, everyone.
Sorry to interrupt your program. He's so good, isn't he?
He's great.
Straight back into it. I just thought, because I have to go, I better show you which button to press at the end.
Oh, right. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where it says jam jar,
Right.
I'll get it shown you.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
So
right.
when you finish your program,
Yep.
Stop. Press stop, wait for a while, and then press that.
And then, okay.
Welcome,
Cool.
both of you. It's really great
Awesome.
to have you back.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, we've got 2 people late at the moment. But they should get here very soon. And I did mention them. But yeah, we've got a bit of an angle on the music too, that most people don't have. And they're too scared to use, because everyone's too, you know, they're mind controlled by theory people that figure that they know everything about every music that's possible to know. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that's true for reggae music. What do you think, Nilos? What's your experience, bro?
With reggae music?
Yeah.
Well, pretty limited, to be honest, Kaea. My knowledge of reggae music, I'm not going to say I'm an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but it does extend beyond Bob Marley. But cool. I think reggae is a real feel music.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to quantify it in terms of theory, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I think there's definitely a very large element of feel involved.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can bring some of that to the table today.
Yeah, for sure, Bray. That's some of what we've got to work through today. The other two would have been really helpful in some of this, but
really helpful. Unfortunately, today with to anybody listening out there, the listeners, I'm a little bit injured at the moment, so my guitar playing is a little limited, very limited. But we'll do the best we can.
Yeah, that's about all we can do at the moment. Bands start off pretty slowly anyway. Unless we really, right from the get-go, we put in, I guarantee if I put in, or if I got the finance of $500,000, I'd have 13 musicians here today.
I can guarantee it. I can guarantee that,
I'd have 13 million, 13...
Yeah. Well, maybe 30.
Yeah. I'll probably get 30 or 40, I guarantee. But because everyone knows the value of that in the music industry, and so, but because we haven't at the moment, but we have finance on the way, I can guarantee you that somewhere along the way, which is how most bands start off, is gradual, and somewhere along the way we'll all come together. But luckily we're practicing at different times. We've got finance coming in. We've got lots of support there. We've got a music lawyer. We've got recording studios. We've got, and we're going to get a look at all that sort of thing. We've got producers, we've got manufacturers, we've got all those people at the ready. We've even got gigs ready to go. Hawaikirangi is well and truly ready, and but there's been mostly in the main practices we've had 4 of us as opposed to 13. This is a 13-piece reggae band, and any 13-piece band is a hassle to get going, a hassle to manage, and a hassle
getting 13 musicians in the same room, on the same page, not an easy job.
No. So but we've got them operating in 3 different places. One group of us in Palmerston. That's what I mentioned, Te Papaioia, that's Palmerston. And Te Whanganui Orotu, Te Whanganui Atara is what Tahumākaka Nui Matua calls Wellington area. And also, the main group of us is in Wairarapa ki Tararua. We haven't had a major practice yet, because I've called one 3 times and we haven't been able to make it. It's just times are not fitting in with everybody, and finance is okay. It's actually not stretched, but if we had a lot more, I guarantee you would get people here. But that's the way it goes. That's bands, and Hawaikirangi was scheduled to come on today, and we're ready to go. We could do a gig just 4 of us. That's easily done. Some bongos, a bass, someone who can lead in rhythm, and some voice, and we'd be away. We'd be away quite easily, and I'd say the quality would be really good, gigging quality, and so we're there, and we're not sounding too bad, everybody. So fear not, relax. It's all good. And you'll notice there, when I had the prayer there, the prayer part, I didn't use a karakia, an incantation of any sort, and I didn't use the atua tūturu at all there. I went straight to Christianity, which is probably for me ideal, having become Christian now. There is a spiritual basis. We'll get right into some of these things that we organised to talk about today. There's a spiritual basis there, and it's not the most important part for us to talk about today, but I just want to touch on it because it's important. And I guess when you've joined a faith that is the faith of most of the people of the Western Division and most of the people of Waitarapa ki Tararua. It's a good way to, I guess, give a spiritual foundation to your reggae band. It's not something we're going to talk about a lot, but it is a key to good reggae music. Now, we'll talk a little bit about that today, but if I can just, what I'm going to do is queue up a waiata, and we are going to have a waiata from one of the CDs that we have here, just to cover us for now. I'm left with Nilos and I at the moment, and as we get things moving along, we will start off with talking about the name. Hawaikirangi, what we're all about. Reggae, we've already touched a wee bit on that. There's a lot to talk about there, and but reggae music, and talking about the theory side and the not so theory side. Now, the king of reggae was Nilos.
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, of course. So that's what everyone said.
Of course.
Well, if you told Bob that, no.
Agree with you, eh?
Yeah, he would disagree with you because he knows the music a lot better than the industry. And the reason Bob sounded so good was because of Bob. It wasn't because of the industry. It wasn't because of theory. And one of the key things to our argument that Hawaikirangi brings to the industry is that one of Bob's key quotes said that the music can be copied, see? And Bob said, but it's not copy do it, you know? And by copy, Bob means theory. Theory is an artistic, professional way of getting organised around having the ability to not just compose and organise your own music, but copy music. And Bob sees theory in terms of reggae music as a way of just copying the music. And so Bob, what he was saying in that quote was that yes, it can be copied, but it's not the copy that does it. What does it? What does it, Nilos? Nilos mentioned it before. It's the feel.
The feel. That's
it's
right.
The feel. Yeah. And that's exactly what Bob says. And he's right. It's right. You've got to know how to create that. It's not the pace that creates everything for you. It's your creation of the feel, starts with the feel. What did Bob say? It carry I feel. You know, it's a people music. If you can get all those principles together about the music and use it as the core basis for the music, then you're on the way to playing some good reggae music. Yeah, we're going to go to a song break. And kia ora mai tātou, kua tai ake mai, kua whākaraka I te ahiahi. Te wā, kua kai te whā o ngā haora, tēnei o ngā waiata. Mai tēnei o ngā kōpai. Hai whakarungu ake kia tātou. Tēnā rā tātou, kai te rānguna ti tātou ngā kōrero kia Hawaikirangi. Tēnā nau mai haere, kahuri.
Kutona tinana e haronuna, kutona ngākau he wai aru he, kutona wairua he wai kauere. Here ia e te rūkahu, he mamai mutu ngā kore, he putakari ngā tona kāinga e mau here ana ia, me hai nai lei, e takahi ana ia, ka pehe a te aruha, e mau here ana ia, me hai nai lei, e takahi ana ia, ka pehea te aroha me tū tonu I te tū Kia mau I te mana Me tū tonu I te tū Kia mau I te mana Pātara wai piro noi hoa te mau Tana toto kei te papa e rere ana He ua koa uia ki tōna whare Paunua te kai o te pātaka He rea ia e te rukahu He mamai mutu ngā kore He pūtākari ngā tōna kāinga E mau he rea ana ia Me hai nai lei E takahi ana ia Ka pehea te aroha E mau he rea ana ia Me hai nai lei E takahi ana ia Ka pehea te aroha me tū tonu I te tū Kia mau I te mana Me tū tonu I te tū Kia mau I te mana
Tēnā nō rā tātou, kua hoki mai anō tātou I te rima mai I te whā, kai te huri atu I nā iana maiwa ko Nelas. Kare noa rarau ia kia tae mai, kai te pai rā tērā, engari kia haere tonu atu ai ngā kōrero I roto I te wā nei ki a maiwa ko Nelas me tā maiwa hei kōrero atu ki Hawaikirangi. And Hawaikirangi Nelas is a very, very well-created name, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
I do, I like it.
Yes, Hawaikirangi, the paradise.
Yes.
The heavenly place we, in our mind, in our heart, that we think about and know that is our home.
Mm-hmm.
That's our description for the Western Aukati, eh? If you can remember back, I described that just a few minutes ago. I described the Western Aukati. I told you the land mass that is, or the Western Division. And there's 12 tribes in the Western Aukati. There's Tahumākaka Nui Matua, Rākai Nui, Te Aomatarahi Matua, Muaupoko, Māmoe, Tahumata Whaiti, Kahu, Waitaha Nui, Kaitahu, Waitaha Rangi, and Tara Rangitāne Hāmua. There's lots of debate and kōrero to have there about who is who there. and also Te Hika o Pāpauma. There's another one there, Te Hika o Pāpauma. And it's very, very interesting because most people get told by the Crown, they get hammered into by the Crown that there's only something like 2 in Wairarapa ki Tararua, and that's not true because all those 12 tribes also have descendants within Wairarapa ki Tararua alone. So that gives you an idea of how much language is here. You can't just say there's 2 tribes and there's so much more language than 2 tribes of language. And the only sorts of tribes that had language like that were built out of layers and layers of tribal language were Tahitian. See? So our reo is in particular Tahitian style built. It's also an example of a senior line of language which counts kahunu or rangitane right out of the picture. So that makes things interesting, eh? But when we look at a name like Hawaikirangi, it's so well created, very creative, very, very original. Because sometimes I know of a name like that's been named to people, and it's not something rare to have a person's name also made a name of something of the physical environment as well. Very, very common, very, very common that. And so Hawaikirangi became our band name. It's the connotations too. I mean, we are a reggae band that has people that believe in some spiritual basis. Reggae has that sort of basis, a spiritual one. It might not be Christian, but it doesn't matter. It has a spiritual one.
That's right. I think the message of reggae is a spiritual brotherhood amongst all people, and exemplified by the great Bob Marley with his song One Love for all people, regardless of their race, religion, creed.
Yes, and that was what I touched on earlier. Bob said, it carry, I feel. And what Bob meant about that is that reggae music is a music, and the way of playing it through being able to create the feel that you need within that music takes into consideration the feelings of everyone.
That's right.
See, that's what Bob meant by that. And he said that the theorized way of viewing and tasting and feeling this music is not the way to play this music. And if you've got the best, well, considered the best in reggae music, saying something like that, there's something terribly wrong if we're all going to stay rigid to... And I'm only saying that, I'm only supporting that and reinforcing it because I never have. I've given time to theory and learning theory. I've been a musician just about all my life. 46 years playing reggae. So I've known the music for so long I could just about, probably do all of Bob's songs standing on my head. No one could do that, I could do it standing on my head and guitar behind my back, something like that. And you tried it, didn't you? That's how you got your injury?
Nice one. I won't be doing that again in a hurry.
You tried to spin around as well. And,
just play them normally straight, standing, sitting, whatever. Not behind my back again. It's quite an exciting music if you can master it. And so theory is not the way to master it. So I just wanted to mention that. And I'm not against theory. Theory does have a place in reggae music, and Bob used it widely
See, but he only used it in certain areas, and I do too. I only use it in certain areas. If we're going to stick rigidly to that, then we're going to box the music up, like a lot of theory people box it up, and it loses its taste after a while. When you get reggae like that, it's not reggae to Bob. I have to quote Bob there. Every reggae song should be a good song. See, every reggae song should be a good song, and they should not lose their flavour, should not lose their sweetness, and should be able to be played over and over again. And just like all his songs, his sons, for instance, and daughters, they haven't stopped playing his songs, they're just amazing numbers, and the guy was gifted.
Absolutely.
Timeless
music.
Bro.
Timeless music.
Absolutely.
And, themes that can resonate, be embraced by anybody, really. With love for God, forever loving Jah.
Yes.
Struggling against oppression.
Yes.
And getting redemption.
Yes.
These things are all the whole human experience. We all experienced this, and Bob expressed all of those things in his music in such a beautiful and profound way.
I think the guys in UB40 there, the guys they sort of epitomise the sort of reggae band that sort of proves to us that you don't need the whole of the Rasta spiritual basis.
Absolutely.
Yet they sort of they sort of, can I sort of chime in there a little, because they're sort of not telling us the truth there. And I'll tell you why. You already know anyway, Nilos, don't you? They pitched up tent in Jamaica. They hung out with the Rasta guys and girls. And look, their reggae developed out of that. So really it was there. They just didn't get into it. They used it in their music. They created their music out of that spirituality, but they didn't turn to the Rasta faith or anything like that to be able to get the essence of the music. I think they did really well, and for being honest and saying that they're not Rasta or anything like that, but that their music does have the spiritual basis, and that's why it's so good. Play some real good reggae.
Yeah, you certainly do. Yeah, do. Yeah.
That's why it's so good. And
great front man.
Yes.
I can't remember his name right now.
Ali, and his brother.
Guy could sing though, right?
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
They're wonderful, and they had their own. They made the music their own. All the best of them in the world made the music their own. Most of the heavyweights, Nilos, in reggae music, which is every band that I've played in, reggae music band that I played in, I've led the band, and my music has always epitomised the music of the heavyweights. Your Black Uhuru, Bunny Wailer, Black Slades, Gladiators, U-Roy, all those guys, that Dennis Brown, who made the music, the touch of class that it is in the world. We are bringing our own touch of class to it, and we're going to add to the music in the world, aren't we, Nilos?
We are, yes.
We are, yes. And bring... I'll have some later on. We are going to bring our own selves to the music and basically bring, the Western division of New Zealand to the music and tell our story, which is something we will touch on very, very soon. We're going to go to another music break, and we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. E tātou mā. Kai te rango nā te tātou i ngā kōrero a Hawaikirangi. We might even get to do us a song very, very soon. Yeah, we might try Stir It Up by Bob Marley. That'll be coming up soon. So keep it locked on. Cheer. Cheer.
Whakarongo mai e te iwi e Whakarongo mai e te angatahi e Ki te tangi aroha nei e Hei aha te mahi nana kia Maui ngā tohu ngā tikanga Akuia ma, akuroma Maui ngā tohu ngā tikanga Akuia ma, akuroma Te reo ngā rono a te tikanga A ngā atua Matua, matua te puna Ki te ao marama Ki te ao huri huri e Riro ki ngā huatanga rereke Ki te ao huri huri e Riro ki ngā huatanga rereke Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Whakarongo mai e te iwi e Whakarongo mai e te angatahi e Ki te tangi aroha nei e Hei aha te mahi nana kia Maui ngā tohu ngā tikanga Akuia ma, akuroma Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Maui ngā tohu ngā tikanga Akuia ma, akuroma Hei oranga mo te iwi Māori e Hei oranga mo te iwi Māori e Te mana mali mo tuhake Ngā rono te reo, ngā rono te tikanga A ngā atua Matua, matua te puna Ki te ao marama Ki te ao huri huri e Riro ki ngā huatanga rereke Ki te ao huri huri e Riro ki ngā huatanga rereke Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Pupurita kia uka no ki te mano ngā tua Hei oranga mo te iwi Māori e Hei oranga mo te iwi Māori e Te mana mali mo tuhake
Tēnā hoki mai, tēnā hoki ake mai tātai, ruangahuru mātahi mai I te whā inaiana. Kai te tere haere te wā. Time's going fast, eh, Nilos?
It's flying by.
It's flying by, Brian. We've almost done our first show, man.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Hey,
Yeah.
Hawaikirangi, eh?
Yeah.
On the road, bro.
Well, yeah.
On the road. And we're getting going. And
Man.
at some point, we've got 12 months to run the show, so we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, today, it's been minimal preparation, maximum
Yes.
execution.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Yeah,
That's the way to put it.
And we've got some some exciting music coming up in the weeks to come.
Oh, yeah. It's not always going to be like this, but we just wanted to make a start, get everything on the road. We're still waiting to get organised, like bands do. Most of our guys are session players. We've got a lot of session players. We've got a few guys out there that are going to come in from elsewhere, but we still have to audition them, have a look at them. Nilos has been around a long time. I've been around a long time. I've got a lot of guys out there that have been around a long time and I've jammed a lot with. But a lot of them are busy at the moment. So, I couldn't get them into the band. So I had to go into a lot of new guys and girls. A lot of girls there and some young people. We've got some young people, and one of those people we're going to be here today. I don't know why they're not, but we will get to see them and hear them. We've got some big voices. We've got some big instrumentals. We've got some great discipline, which is what is going to capture the style of reggae that we want to play, which is going to be massive for Aotearoa New Zealand. I can't even say it properly. Can you believe it?
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day, all right. It's been a long day, bro. And I've still got another 5 hours left. I got another band practice later on tonight. I've got a church group meeting. I've got, other stuff going on. And we've got families, and I'll see my kids too, and Nilos will get to see his kids, his family, and that's another thing with bands. A lot of the guys and girls that you have in the bands, they have their own families. You've got to make way for that. You got to make allowances, but as time goes on, you sort of get used to things, and everyone starts to chime in all of a sudden. Even with the money, I guess I was a little bit unfair saying that. For most of these people, don't really care about the money because they all came in, without the money. So, and everyone said, we can chip in, do this, do that, but it hasn't sort of come off. Sort of come off because times haven't happened. Some kids needed to be here, and and that's the way things go for a while. But we've got 12 months with the show. I really wanted to make a start, and a couple of the others really wanted to make a start, and I wanted to keep Nilos in with us because the more we stay on track and stay with this, the greater it's going to be for all of us, and the better it's going to be. And Nilos is right. We've got some great music to share. We have a style all of our own, and the media's after it, aren't they, Nilos?
Yeah.
The media's after. We've got a few points of difference there. The spiritual. No one uses Christian spirituality as a foundation for reggae music. No one does that. We do. We're the first band in the country to actually do that. And we could argue that Ratana's been doing that for years, we could argue that, but then again, they've never really, we can't really say that we were the first day if we consider it in terms of Ratana. But I guess Ratana's a whole, a Māori sort of spirituality within Christianity that is all its own as well. So they've done that without even saying, and we're going to do that too. But I just wanted to mention it because it's a point of difference with us, and in particular, we're a united Christian group. We've got some Christians in the group. We've got one Ratana. He's actually Ratana, one of the guys. And so we've got mixed Christian faiths here. And one guy that's had a fair bit to do with Rasta, but doesn't count himself as a Rasta. And we've got some great talent ready to be moulded into this product of reggae music of the Western Division of New Zealand. How do you like that? How do you like that? So we have touched on a little bit about what reggae is. It's a form of music, comes from soca, which is spelled S-O-U-K-O-U-S. Soukous, the music of King Solomon, King David. Soccer music. There's also another soccer music, but it's spelt different and also sounds different. Sounds more calypso, more Latin American, and yeah, you know that sound, eh? The tin drums and
steel drums,
the big steel drums. Steel drums. I'm thinking of one of our gigs, Tin Hut. Tin Hut, we got Tin Hut, Gladstone Tavern. We've got the young fellas. A couple of the young fellas can't join us for Tin Hut, but we're hoping to bring through also e Tatauma. We're hoping to bring through some of the young people of the regions that are within the Western Division, and bring them through, because the old guys like Nilos, Nilos and a couple of others. No. We won't be in the band all the time, you know.
Right.
I guess for myself, I might play in the band. I might play in Hawaikirangi. Ooh, could be, who knows? Could be 5 years, could be 10. But leading a band like Hawaikirangi is a real honour, a real privilege, and to do that for reggae music, and to do something different, and to add to the reggae music repertoire in the country is a real honour too, a real privilege to be able to be part of, isn't it, Nilos?
It sure is, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got a bit of a story to tell. You know, there's a bit of a story here in the Western Division. Waitarapa ki Tararua alone is a huge story. So a lot of our songs, a lot of the style and the way we're going to tell the story is particularly at Ruangahuru Mā Iwa I Te Whā, 29 past 4. It's particularly relative and associated to the whole reggae music thing. A rough, really rugged music. If you listen to it, it sounds and feels real closely, and the way that the music is put together originally. We're talking about before theory came along and technology, which softened it up. And the sounds, it didn't soften up the music. It how the producers used to describe it, they enhanced the music and created a basis for wider audiences.
That's right. Brought in some rhythm and blues elements from America.
Yeah.
And that changed things up a little bit. Yep. But as you say, Kaea, to broaden the appeal of the music.
Yes. And
if we're talking about someone like Bunny Wailer, a little more of the genuine spiritual truths going on there, but the rich Rasta reggae tapestry going on there.
Yeah, probably.
Not to say that Bob's spiritual strength was in any way diluted, but these things were brought in by record companies to sell more records.
Yeah, well, I guess that's where theory has its, it has it's a necessary part of the music in order to commercialise it, eh? And you can't stop development, Bob even said that you can't stop the development. It has to happen.
Yeah.
And so there's a place for theory.
If you want a mass audience, right, Guy?
Yeah.
And maybe, Bob's thinking to take this spiritual message to the most people he could reach. These perhaps were some of the things that had to happen for him.
Yes,
and not just for Bob Marley, but for all reggae artists who wanted to reach that the largest amount of people that they could, get the biggest audience they could.
Yep. Yep. And when you're just starting out like us, we've got some big audiences already, by the way. We have, I myself, I have more than enough audience already. I could go out there and do this solo. Well, not this. I wouldn't do this solo because it's too big. It's too big to just do solo. But, do something like go out there and play reggae as a solo artist. But I don't enjoy solo, not in reggae music. Not in reggae music, it's a lot less fun. You know, it's more fun. Like you say, you know, you were talking about before, the communal, the cultural, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the unification.
That's right.
Working together. And those are the principles of this music that we mustn't drift off from. It's not in how fast or slow we play this music. It's how we pull it together and how we use that spiritual basis to enhance that and then bring it out in the music. Now, those are some of the methods that we use, and those, I assure you, are methods that Bob used. And those, I also assure you, I mean, Bob, all the heavyweights in the world, he trained them. Not many people know that. Now, yeah, and that's why I talk about the guy. And look who really, well, who started taking over reggae after Bob went was around about Peter Tosh-ish. And then a lot of the others came through. And then all of a sudden, UB40 rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
And they just mastered it, eh? They mastered it and monstered it all over the world. And they're still going strong. They're amazing guys, eh? I love UB40. They have a different take on the music. They still have the spiritual there. They can't deny that. I know that they're not into that, but they know that that's what it takes, eh? Yeah, I mean, they went to Jamaica. They pitched up tent there, and you know, they basically, that's what they did. They camped there. They camped in Jamaica. They got to know the culture. And next thing you know, they're all mixed in with the spiritual. They're doing ground nations. You know, all of that every day in the life of Jamaican living. And prayers and whakamoe whakanui, you know, adoration and all of that sort of stuff going on all the time, you know. Prayers all the time. High priest doing this stuff. Great singing. Great enlightenment and all that sort of thing. And UB40 got their ability to play that music, and they do very well. Got to play reggae so well there. And it tells the story, the music itself. You know, all of the indigenous oppressed and people crying out for freedom in the world.
Absolutely, Kaea, that's right. And the I think that's part of the...
It sort of gives you a clue as to where we're coming from.
That's right, and I think that theme of redemption is perhaps why Bob Marley's music in particular has resonated so strongly with Māori people. And of course his concert here, you know, that just left a lasting impression. Mate. A lasting impact upon Māori people who are clearly, you know, have been oppressed. And, you know, that was, for them, a very strong message of redemption.
Yep. Just amazing, eh? The concert, once that happened, reggae music just took off everywhere in the country, exploded. And we... for one, people in the Western Division here were actually quite amazed at how everything took off. And it never stopped. It never stopped, and even today it hasn't stopped. The growth of reggae music in the world and in the Western Division and in New Zealand hasn't stopped.
Absolutely. I mean, that concert has just the legacy of that concert.
And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's why Hawaikirangi is on the road, because we're here to do our bit too, and show that for Te Tai Hauauru Aukati, this is our story. This is our cry. This is our tangi. You know, this is our you know, we weep and mourn too over stuff that has unfairly happened to us too. And for some of us, it's still happening, you know. And then we've got other sides of people that, you know, we're not just going to tell our story, but everyone else's too. They're in difficult situations too, others. And then we've got to remember that it's not just about, I mean, we're in particular associated with Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua, which is the most senior of the tribes of these regions in the Western Division. And, you know, because we're sponsored by Two Tahu Trust, Tahu Investments Limited. Oh, before I forget, Reggae Music Shop. Reggae Music Shop is a part of Two Tahu Trust, Tahu Investments Limited. And we've always had it there, and some of the bands that I've brought out under the label have come through there. And done very, very well. This one we intend to take all the way. This one we have marketing strategies and plans going forward that will entirely open up the music industry in this region alone. Something chronic. Something chronic.
Which is really great, you know. I mean, there's just so many talented musicians in this area, you know.
Yeah, but
that need exposure.
Not many of them will actually look to make it happen. You know, because there's either not enough know-how or they get swallowed up by theory, and a lot of those guys take them away to somewhere else, like university or teaching, tutoring, or more concentration on theory, which is fine, you know. Don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against theory, but it doesn't help the reggae music. And if we look across the country, reggae music it's got a long way to go in New Zealand. It's been here for so long, and yet it's taking people far too long to try and master the music. And I'm just one of those people that have never taken my chance, my opportunity to move into the industry and do something with my talent for the music in the industry, but I'm doing that now, and so that's the good thing about it. And Hawaikirangi is the vehicle for which I'm going to be able to do that and play all of the music. I'm well known for playing the whole of reggae music. Everyone listens to me. Wow, what's that song? You know, and they say, oh, I thought that was a blues soul number. No, this is a reggae song. They go, really? You know, I go, wow, you listen to UB40, they did, what's one of their songs that they did? They did a cover of Winston Groovy's
Red Wine.
Please Don't Make Me Cry. That one, for instance, doesn't sound like reggae, but it is. Yeah, they've mastered the reggae music to a certain point. UB40. Some people argue that they're the best in the world. I'd say they're the most commercialised in the world. I wouldn't say they're the best. And the reason for that is because they're too theory. And I think that's a lot of the trouble within the band. They've argued a lot over the years. I've heard from Ali saying, you know, this and that. He can't stand this and that about, you know, I don't mean to go on about their troubles, but they've often had big arguments, and he's pulled out and done some other stuff, gone solo and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you it's because the band's too commercialised. And that's what can happen is commerciality, theory takes the fun out of and the real essence out of music sometimes. And I'm grateful that Ali appreciates the real sweetness of real reggae music. And it comes... It's bigger than theory, let's put it that way. It's bigger than music, let's put it that way. And you can't know that unless you've played reggae for a long time. 46 years, that's a long time to play this music, okay? A long time. So you've got to have some ability if you're spent as much time as I have in the music. Now, we were going to do a number. We were going to do Stir It Up, weren't we? I'll tell you what, Nilas, we'll keep everyone in suspense.
Yeah,
well,
I think we should let people know that we just haven't had the time. Unfortunately, I have, as I mentioned earlier, injured my hand from practicing guitar, actually. But we haven't had the rehearsal time that we would have liked to have had, and we don't. We want to be able to play in a good way, you know, for the listeners. So
there's a certain quality.
That's right.
Quality that I can reach that on my own, and so I might play one to take us out today at just before 4:55, and Nilos has got to take off to
That's
his kids,
right,
but,
yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to leave, but thank you so much for having me here, Kaea.
Yeah, no worries,
yeah,
bro.
and ja blessings to everybody out there. Yeah, and let's just take love and kindness, put that in our kete of life, moving forward on our journey. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, no worries, Nilos. And that'll take us out to a break. And we will make sure that in our particular take on the music, that we keep the focus on on our story and telling our story. Ja is a part of that story too, and
Ihu karaiti.
And there's a lot of ihu karaiti, te yehua karaiti, and all those sorts of elements in our communities. We've even got Bahai, we've even got all those sorts of people. They all those sorts of faiths. They are Muslim as well. They all get into reggae music. Believe me, they love it. They love it. And so we're just bringing our brand, our product to the industry, and we're going to add to the music. And it's so underdeveloped in our country. I just want to finish your part in this about that. So underdeveloped. So there's some work to do there. We've had a good study of everything, of the music in our country. It's very underdeveloped. It's too theory-led and influence. It's not at the greatest standard it could be. And for the time that we've been playing the music since Bob's concerts, it's probably, if we had a number of stages from 1 to 10 since Bob played here, we'd be at about 2 or 3.
Yeah, well said, Kyle. Well said.
In the country, 2 or 3. I think Fat Freddy took us to 2 pretty quick.
He might have taken us back a step.
and Ruya and Rania and Survival and all those guys have done absolutely unbelievably well. And people like the Black Sea, Salmonella Dub.
Black Seeds,
just great.
Right.
So I don't mean to sound down-putting, because that's not the purpose of the show. It's just to try and be realistic and for people to keep reggae music in perspective. And in our country, worldwide, it's absolutely amazing. But in our country, it's, there's some reggae, and there's a certain aspect of reggae, and there's certain aspects out there in reggae, but most of it's actually dead. I'm sad to say. That's our research, that's our take on the music. So we're hopefully going to bring you something that, and we will get to play sometimes for you live in the studio, and a few times somewhere down the track there we'll have the whole crew in here. And I assure you, we will have the whole 13-piece in here, and doing some numbers. We might spend the whole show doing some numbers, having little chats in between, a bit of a break, bit of a cup of tea, and a talk with you.
Why not?
Yeah. We might run through one of our albums. Or a few of the singles as well, and bring them to you. Of course, we're going to be using the reo. And some of the songs, most of our songs are going to be in English. We want to have, that wider appeal. We don't just want to appeal to New Zealand audiences. We want to appeal and tell our story right across the world. And of course, that should be the key to that should unlock the doors out there worldwide for us. Whoa, the time is going real fast.
My kids need me. I have to leave. But
Te ngahu mātoru
thank you so much.
ki te rima o ngā haora. Yeah, and so yeah, he has to go. Nelos, kia ora tātou. Ka huri ati nei ki tētahi waiata. Karongo ake mai. Tēnā nō rā tātou kua māwihe ki atu Nilos. Tērā tangata Pākehā rā. Kaha nei te tautoko atu i ngā hapu, i ngā uri. Ia tātou mā o roto i ngā hapu, i roto i ngā rohe. Tangata kaha nei ki te tautoko, kai roto anō i te pēne Hawaikirangi. Tētahi o ngā tangata whakatangi kutara, whakatangi kitara, me te waiata, waiata huātai, ne? Waiata huātai, waiata āpiti, waiata tautoko. Ko ia tērā Nilos, a good friend. And so we were going to do, I didn't want to keep him on. He's still got his injured hand. He tried to do some gymnastics while he was playing reggae. And I warned him about that. It's hard enough me standing on my head with a guitar behind my back and playing reggae, but he tried it spinning around, and that's how he ended up with the sore hand. So I didn't want to strain it today. So aroha mai tātou. But stir it up. Definitely sounds like a waiata. I'll just do a quick snippet of it. But then I'm going to have ritenga inoi, te mea whakamutunga, he tuku whakamue miti anō ki tō tātou ariki atua. Ki aia, kia te iehua. Just before I take us out at Te Rima Miniti ki Te Rima. And that'll be the finish for the day. And that's great. We've made a start. Hawaikirangi. And Nilos and I did it. I'll speak to Rarauia and the other person later and see what happened there. They'll definitely be here next week because we'll need them. They had some parts in the kōrero and the singing today. We could have still sung today, but if they were here. But I didn't want to strain Nilos's hand, but... Ooh, little darling, steer it up. It's been a long, long time since I've got you on my mind. Ooh, 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 yeah, you. Now you are here, I said it's okay, yeah. See what we can do on it, just me and you, or we could steer it up. Oh, ooh, little darling, steer it up. Come on, baby, come on, or we could steer it up. Oh, na, na, na. Ooh, little darling, steer it up. Come on, baby. Oh, it's been a long, long time since I've got you on my mind. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now you are here. I said it's okay, yeah. There's just a little snippet there of what you can expect. Actually, that's one of the songs I always do in our fundraising for Tūtahu Trust for the relief services in there. And child poverty is one part of that. But some of the things that you can expect, some of the music. We did promise stir it up, but I just, in the end, didn't want to strain his hand. And, of course, what I will finish with is this one. Kia inoi anō tātou. Te ritinga inoi oku ki a koe roto i tēnei wā te iehua. Ko ia tēnei, whakamoe miti, whakanui. Kua whanake nei i roto anō i a koe, i roto i tēnei wā, i roto i o kaha, i roto i tēnei wā, tēnei hōtaka kia Hawaikirangi. Ki te tai tokera, ki te tai hauauru au kati. Tō mātau titiro atu anō ki ona huatanga. Tō mātau titiro anō ki tōna tipu, tōna kore tipu rānei. Ienei mea katoa anō. I roto anō i o kaha, i o whakaaro i tō haupakari. Te whakawhaiti mai ienei tū a huatanga i roto i a mātau. Tēnā rā. Ko koe whakamoe miti roto tō ingoa. Te iehua karaiti. Āmene. It's one of our songs. Te ariki atu Te ariki atu ia. Te ariki atu ia. You should all know this one. I'll finish off with this one, Arakera I te mate te ariki atu ia. Horo nukua a papa. Whakia katoa toa. Te iehua kara iti te ariki atua. And that's in Tahu Mākāka Nui Matua, for those that don't know. Our reo, in our particular reo, we only use Tahu Mākāka Nui Matua reo. Waitaha rangi reo is part of that. So we'll be bringing you all of that in 12 months, over 12 months. And then the shows will probably just continue to go, and Arrow FM, Wairarapa TV will continue to feature us. E tātou, one more time. Te ariki atua ia. Te ariki atua ia. Arakera I te mate te ariki atua ia. Horo nukua a papa. Whakia katoa toa. Te iehua kara iti te ariki atua. Mene.